Namo Yidafa, good morning. Thank you for joining me for a daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I am determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I am aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. Our Dharma reading today is Whose Is This? By Ajahn Karuna Dhammo. A few days ago I noticed that just above the door of my kuti, there's a large colony of yellow jackets that has decided to make its home under my roof. Yellow jackets are notoriously territorial. As the summer continues on and becomes hotter and drier, there's less food, and as the colony size grows, the wasps tend to get more and more aggressive. I've been stung by yellow jackets in the past, and their stings can be pretty painful. Given these circumstances, I knew that I needed to take care of the situation. The first thoughts that went through my mind when I initially saw them were, they are in my kuti. This is my kuti, and they shouldn't be here. I need to do something to get them out. I tried to figure out a way to do that, so that they would be deterred but not harmed. I thought I could accomplish this by spraying them with water, albeit from a good distance. It seemed to me that would aggravate them enough so that they would leave their nest long enough for me to take it down and move it further away. I've sprayed them a number of times over the past few days, and it does indeed stir them up. In fact, a couple of them have found me more than 20 feet away, and I've been stung twice. After the first couple of days observing them in their territorial and protective nature, I was reminded of how really foolish it is to have any sense of ownership around my kuti. It's likely that their sense of possession is even stronger than mine, to the point of aggressively defending their position. For them, it is their kuti, not mine, and they are simply defending their territory against me. This is another reminder of the sense of ownership and control we have, the sense we have of being the center of experience and generally the center of the universe. We tend to carry this sense around with us most of the time. So it's beneficial to pose these questions to ourselves. To whom does this belong? To whom does this kuti belong? To whom does this monastery belong? The other night in Vinaya class, we were talking about the ownership of property, especially as it pertains to monks. We say the Abhayagiri Monastic Corporation owns the property of the monastery. Well, does it really? What about all the other beings that exist in the buildings? They probably have a sense that they own the whole monastery. This feeling of ownership also extends to all of the things that give us a sense of who we are, particularly the human body. We tend to think of this body as my body, my foot, my knee, my back, and do what is necessary to defend ourselves against all of the situations that might come and threaten the body. We treat illnesses, and we take care of whatever has befallen us with a sense of possession, a sense that this has happened to my body. We take antibiotics or put on different ointments and salves to defend the body against all of the organisms that are taking over. But the millions of organisms that live in our bodies may think of these bodies as theirs, if they do think. It's helpful to ask ourselves, whose body is this? Whose feelings are these? Whose thoughts are these? Whose opinions are these? Whose neuroses are these? Whose problems are these? We have such a strong sense of ownership around all of this. We hope to do whatever is possible to reasonably maximize comfort and skillfulness. Yet, if we have a sense of personal attachment, personal identity to any of this, then at some point, when things change, we are bound to suffer. This is a reflection we can keep in mind as we practice throughout the day. Even though we spend a lot of time developing skillful means and use a fair amount of intention and will, we need to ask ourselves, who is in charge? Who is this? To whom does all this belong? We don't have to come to any specific, logical conclusions. These questions are asked to open up a space for uncertainty. They help us see our bodies as changing phenomena over which we truly do not have any ultimate control. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.